Welcome back, everyone, to LCS Challengers.
Started off
That was
good.
a wild game, Josh. That was a wild game. 4 minutes is not enough to recover from it. FlyQuest Challengers versus Wildcard. What a game one it was. I mean, for the most part, we were thinking, hey, this is going to be a FlyQuest win. They're just taking over the game. Surdy has 10 kills, no deaths. Then sweat started to appear on the brow of FlyQuest.
It did, and I mean, so much of it comes down to, we credit Wildcard a lot for trying to find a lot of different angles, but this time it was Shaden who found the angle for them, right? We saw that Shaden just went right into the fight, and unfortunately, it was the wrong fight. And it unfortunately happened 2 times in a row, which ended up giving Wildcard a lot of say in a lot of the fights, gave Aaron more time to scale, and it took a heroic effort from not just Surdy, but also Sajid in 2 different plays in order to finally cement their win.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it was looking a little doom and gloom due to the fact that they weren't able to get the smolder to go for Wildcard, right? It was a long time before we actually got to that critical mass. The, what was it, 225 is the stacks?
Yeah,
is that correct?
25, yeah.
Yeah, 225. Takes a long while to get to that. But once we did get there, the stacking really started to add up. We almost got to 400 stacks for Aaron, making him that crucial of a target to take down. So those last 2 fights where they did isolate onto Aaron, Sajid was able to get 1 pick. That was absolutely fantastic, by the way. Did it all by himself. And then, of course, Surdy's major play that you were mentioning earlier, getting the 5-man knockup. It all came together beautifully to really focus what they needed to on Wildcard, and that was that smolder.
Yeah. I do think that there is obviously still signs for growth from FlyQuest, right? That game didn't need to be as close as it was, but it also shows that, like, Wildcard, it feels weird to say that Wildcard have like a 50-50 against every team in the league, right? Because it is kind of how it feels like.
Wildcard way.
It's the Wildcard way. But so this is one of the opportunities here for Wildcard to try and turn things around. They will be on the blue side this time, but my biggest worry here, Eric, is instead of getting a counter pick into Surdy up on the top side, now Surdy's going to get the counter pick himself, and we saw what he was able to do with a blind pick.
At a point like this, I do want to bring back up what Sajid had told me a little bit earlier. And as a direct quote, the idea that anyone can win means we can't get complacent or ego any team. Not saying that they have before, but it just reinforces that. And I think this game really did reinforce that. Because even though they got so far ahead, you almost had that moment where Wildcard came back. So let's pull up the Fearless Draft so we can see what's going to be taken away from this next game.
Yeah, it's really important that Smolder and Udyr and Xinjiao are not available to Wildcard, because all these champions have been very strong, not just for these players, but also just kind of in the meta in general. Whereas FlyQuest, they definitely have plenty of things still in their pockets, right? Cassante is definitely something where you do not have to play it. The Vi was a good counter pick here into some of the things that Wildcard were picking, but Fade Luwu, you're not really seeing that. That does mean that FlyQuest has all of the AD carries and really all of the bot lanes that you would normally expect still available to them.
And I want to take it back to a point you were mentioning earlier. I really do worry about Quacker coming into this one. Surdy having the counter pick, and FlyQuest really knew what to ban away to make sure that Quacker wasn't really going to be enabled, right? They took away the Darius immediately, and now what does Quacker really have when the Cassante is the first thing they take away? So with that counter pick now being available, if the Cassante is not banned away, I expect Quacker to go on it, but that leaves so much open to Surdy on the way he wants to play the game.
Yeah, and there's lots of ways to win that matchup as well. The Aatrox is probably the one that we will expect Surdy to go towards, as it's just something that he really loves playing there. But in the mid lane, right, we know that everybody can still play Azir even on 14-3. It is totally okay. And then you still have the Orianna that Quad can pick up. So you have lots of tools, and Nocturne did not get picked or banned this game, which, like, it was just everywhere on 14-2. It is not quite as strong on the newest patch, but it is still, like, very powerful, and you have access to both the Nocturne and the Orianna at the same time.
I mean, part of that is due to the fact that Nico is disabled, and that was one of the hot pairings with Nocturne. We are here in the draft is ready, so let's pull that up while we talk about some of the the Nocturne Orianna is still a very powerful combo, though. It's what I've started, like, lovingly referring to it as the domain expansion combo. Everything goes dark, and you just get shockwaved. You lose someone.
That's clearly a reference to something, but I don't know.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I've seen a lot of anime.
He's been trying to get me to watch that. Beatdown's been trying to get me to watch that since like June, and I just started watching it very recently.
Gotcha. I know it's been very popular, but as we get back into the game, it is going to be Smolder taken away from Sajed. Aaron had his turn at it, and honestly, like, it was crucial to a lot of success that Wildcard had in that last one. Do not want to give FlyQuest the opportunity to do the same thing. And this time, I'm expecting this to probably start off with a Darius ban, or at least 1 or 2 bans towards Quacker to allow Sturdy a lot more freedom in what he wants to play.
Yeah, I can imagine the Darius ban as well as a Senna ban from FlyQuest, because again, that is the most common to take away a lot of the power of Wildcard. You take away Dox's ability to play top and mid lane champions, then he's just forced to be purely a support. Sad for you, right? The ban away of the Orianna as well as the Senna, there it is. Not going to see it.
I mean, you were looking for it. We might have a third game, maybe. It is something that we know Aaron and Doxa do love playing with, and there's lots of cool things you can pair it with it as well. But the Orianna taken away. Man, it's just Wildcard banning, like, hey, what if we banned all the champions we played last game? At least this one's different, right? Shade not going to be able to have access to the Maokai, but that does mean, like, if you wanted the Xin Zhao, he could. There's lots of things you could still pick up, and with the Darius banned away, like, Surdy is saying, well, what if I played Udyr?
So, that ban away, now first pick goes over to the B1 of Wildcard. Again, they can't go for the Udyr themselves because that was picked in the first game, so Quacker can't return to that one. Karma was a very powerful B1 we had in the last patch, so might see that go through once again.
Yeah, I mean, it is very strong. Varus as well, something that was banned in the first game, in the first rotation. And now we have an opportunity to see how FlyQuest are going to try and take this down. Because it is on the blue side, it is a little bit harder to dive the Varus on blue side than it is on the red side a lot of the time. And so FlyQuest, I mean, they are a bit more of an adaptable team. We have seen more different strategies come out of FlyQuest than we have of Wildcard so far. So I'm expecting them to pick something that can really just win the lane bottom side on their own.
Okay, so the first thing getting picked up is going to be the Ashe for FlyQuest. And you always got to like what the Ashe can bring, not just from being in the bottom lane, but how much you can track the opposing jungler. For someone like Winnie, having that information on where Winnie is very, very crucial, because a lot of Wildcard's early attacks in the early and mid games, that's where it's going to come from. It's going to come from the jungle role. It's going to come from Winnie. Now FlyQuest, they're going for their jungle lock-in. It'll be Xin Zhao.
I mean, we have seen what this champion can do, even though Winnie was fairly far behind throughout a lot of the game. Still able to create a powerful front line for himself. And we saw, I mean, Wildcard led it off. We kind of forgot to talk about it a lot of time, but Wildcard started off the game by going into Wildcard's jungle. This combination of champions has a lot of sticking power once a fight would actually break out.
All right, so Karma getting hovered for the time. You can flex it in the support role as well as the mid. Feeling a little spicy, take it to top. Feeling really spicy, let's just go jungle, you know? No,
not that spicy.
Yeah. But, you know, if you do take it into the bot lane, it does provide a lot of, first of all, the early game base damage that Karma brings is always very nice, but the ability to just hard shove that wave in a meta where we've just been so focused onto the bot lane is always going to be nice. This is what we're expecting to come out of Quacker, and it does get locked in Cassante for the top.
Now the question is, what does Sturdy want to play into it? You'd expect that this Cassante is almost definitely going towards the top. I don't believe I've seen Darkwings play Cassante mid in the past, but it is a flex that does need to be at least considered. There are a couple flexes that Wildcard does have access to, and FlyQuest, I almost feel like if I'm playing this, I wait a little bit further, but instead we're going right back to the champion that Sturdy has typically used as his counter pick towards the Cassante here in the Aatrox.
Aatrox versus Cassante going to be on that top lane matchup. It does put a sweat on my brow over towards Quacker because while Quacker is decent on the Cassante, it doesn't play towards the style that we know Quacker for, and this really does give an advantage over to Surdy and how aggressive he can be once he finds a lead in that top lane.
We also saw earlier today, Sniper was able to beat up Impact with the Aatrox while Impact was on the Cassante. I mean, there was a couple. I still maintain
played himself a little bit.
I still maintain that Impact probably solo killed himself the first time, but it is still a position where we can see what this Aatrox does when it does have a little bit of a lead. It is a bit of a terror to play up against, and now you have a very strong front line, a lot of sustained melee damage and sustained healing coming out from the Xin Zhao and the Aatrox, which is going to necessitate at least a little bit of grievous wounds coming out from Wildcard.
it's a pretty nasty skirmish on top of that. I mean, you fight towards any side of the map where we have a neutral objective towards the early to mid game. This is a pretty deadly duo to have to go against. As the next man going to come out, kind of going towards the jungle pool is now FlyQuest, as they'll take away the Vi. We'll see if they take another one towards that jungle pool. We've really emphasized that Winnie is the spearhead of Wildcard in their early games, and that's still going to be the case here, as FlyQuest will take away the Trundle from Winnie.
Very entertained at the Trundle ban. It makes a lot of sense. I've been seeing a lot of like Trundle memes of Trundle in the jungle, and you feast on turrets as the natural predator. But either way, it is not going to be available now. It is a good counter pick into the Xin Zhao and the Aatrox, and so it does create a situation where we have champions that Winnie can play. I'm kind of wondering if he goes to something like the Viego from this position, just because it is something that will allow him to skirmish and potentially to pop off by himself.
It could be an angle for him to go. We'll see in just a moment, as FlyQuest will get their first pick right here until Wildcard grab their next two. So far, we have the top side really decided for FlyQuest. Now we're going to go and finish up our solo lanes. It's Syndra locked in for quad, and I'm pretty excited for this one because this is a lot of pick power that you now have for FlyQuest, enabled by that Scatter of the Week, which is going to complement the Aatrox and Xin Zhao well.
Yeah, I mean, also complements the Enchanted Crystal era, right? You have a lot of tools where you can just, like, lock down someone. And so both AD carries, I love playing in the double Archer compositions because you have both AD carries able to do something, and it is going to be Winnie going over towards the Wukong. It has fallen down a little bit in priority, but you will see this champion still prop up from time to time, especially when the Vi and Xin Zhao are not available. And so there is a front line, there is some engage, there's a lot of tools for this Karma in particular to be strong. But it is yet again Wildcard kind of leaning into a front-to-back style of composition where they don't necessarily always go for the actual front-to-back way of playing it, and it is going to be the Blitzcrank as the final lock-in coming through here, meaning Dark Wings will be getting the Karma.
All right, Blitzcrank locked in. Wukong should be very interesting towards this, considering how skirmish-heavy you're going to have both the Xin Zhao and Aatrox in there. Wukong can do a lot in locking down and just disrupting the fight. The zone control you get with both the Clone and the Cyclone together really does make it hard to control the battlefield if you're FlyQuest. But FlyQuest, speaking of control of the battlefield, I mean, Braum's a good way to answer it. It's going to provide some protection. It's also going to put the Ashe into the ADC role instead of the support role.
Yeah, it is a very safe way for FlyQuest to play, right? They are just kind of relying on their front line now to be kind of the main carries of this, and Sajid playing a bit more of a supportive role, so moving some of the carry potential from Sajid off of the Vayne onto Quad in particular. He's going to need to be a big part of this team's damage. But there's a lot of disengage coming through here, right? It's going to be difficult for Quacker and Winnie to get in and stay in, going up against the Scout of the Week, the Crescent Guard, and the Glacial Fissure coming through from Braum in order to knock them all back, keep them stunned, and not necessarily let them do their damage, and get on top of Sajid and Quad.
So I want to ask you, what do you think about the Blitzcrank pick? I like it for specifically getting the Ashe, but otherwise I do feel a little iffy about it.
It's there. It's a tech piece, right? Like, you have 4 characters that work well in a cohesive composition in everybody but the Blitzcrank. And then, like, Blitzcrank is almost never bad. It's just like, well, it's just there, right? Like, you always have this tech piece that you are going to input into your deck, into your list, in order to try and deal with something that you were not prepared to deal with otherwise. And this, it gives them an extra pick tool going up against Quad and Sajid, who are now moving their way around. We might get a 5-on-5 at level 1.
Coming around the corner, Aaron doesn't know.
Now he does.
Oh, no. Okay. He just saw it. Oh, goodness. That was lucky right there for Aaron. Not spotting that in the corner meant that those 5 members would have been in his face right now.
The Braum team wants this as long as Braum is leading the way.
Uh-oh, here we go. Here we go, Chime. He leads the charge. Here we go. Level 1 fight. Bring out the fisticuff. Shade in his first blood. And we're going right now, man. This is a slugfest. This is a bloodbath. Another knockup. This one's going to be found by Quacker. Trying to get away from Winnie. The monkey gets 2 kills now. And Surdy, you're too far behind enemy lines. He wants to at least find one back. Doxa doesn't have flash. Surdy doesn't either. He still gets the knockup. Doxa, he will escape, and Surdy forced to suffer in the jungle of Wildcard.
It's still a 50-50. 4 kills going over to Wildcard. This game is still 50-50. Let me call it right now. The fact that we see this huge lead going over, Winnie already 2-0-2 at the very start of the game is absolutely wild. But, I mean, we said Braum teams generally want this. You can't walk headlong into the karma at the same time, right? Because all 5 members of Wildcard were all there ready to go for the fight. It ends up being a disaster coming through for FlyQuest. They thought they were being cheeky, but no. This is the Wildcard way.
It's still a 50-50.
It's still, I mean, it is.
It's
we
still
saw
50.
both teams had 6,000 gold lead last game.
Who's going to win? I don't know. Flip a coin. That'll
coin.
be better than trying to analytically go. Let's take another look at what was the Thunderdome, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, as we go into this, the fact that we aren't checking our brushes with volleys early on is very, very tough. Because now you have to face check with your body. And even though Surdy got so close to taking down Doxa here, everybody just has to run away. There's no connected lines. There's no ability to focus fire on any given target. And that does mean that Wildcard, that's the fights that they love to take.
So 2-0-2 now for Winnie. Pretty much a really dreamy start as now in the bottom lane. That's not going to be the case that you want. You know, you don't want to grab the big old burly Braum. Want that Ash, but not going to be the one you get.
I'm going to leave that one hang for a sec. Anyway, Shaden coming down in the same way that Winnie likes to go for it, but there is a Braum here.
Man. All right, here we go. Dive coming out. Shaden sets up. Time's already holding the aggro. He's going to give his life for this one. Shaden still flashes forward, but he's pulled right back in. Still able to secure it. It's going to be Sajed, so not a complete disaster. Shaden audacious charge, and he will get a double kill.
And there we go. That's how it's done. Shaden and Sajed both barely gave their way out. Make sure you kill the minions.
Run!
I saw 18. 18 was the lowest I saw coming through for Shaden there, but there we go. Already chipping their way through, reducing the lead that was picked up by Wildcard to start things off. They back away, and they only lose Chime in the process. And at the same time, Winnie, yeah, he gets a couple of camps for it, but Chime is still able to go over, say hello, see what's going on, and it is going to be a spot where Winnie is not going to be able to capitalize because he had not spent his money yet.
Yeah, Chime passing by. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? You having a good day, Quad?
Yeah, give me some of that money right there in the mid lane. I would like some of these minions for myself. Thank you very much.
He's got 2 assists.
He's got 2 assists? Yeah.
It's not a poverty support angle.
No, it's not a poverty support. I mean, he's still got the support item. But either way, we are still once again looking at a position where we need to see how Wildcard can push this advantage. And Surdy teleported top lane. I don't see what the wave is currently looking like, but like he had to use his teleport early just to make sure he can get to lane on time, and he's already building up a lead against Quacker, who started the game with a kill.
Yeah, in fact, I kind of want to take a look at the gold now that we've had all these shenanigans go through. And Shaden's still keeping up quite decently. It's just with all the chaos that happened in that level 1, Winnie and Aaron are at the healthiest start possible.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you get all these kills, and Winnie going for it, this dragon as well. All of his lanes have cryo in the area. This is the turn after Shaden goes for the dive. Winnie decides, hey, our turn, after we push all of our waves right back out, is going to be picking up this dragon. But Quad, maybe looking to get something on their way back, but will not be able to fight it. So Wildcard, I mean, this is some pushing of the lead that is very important to do, but you are seeing that their lanes is a little bit closer to what I was kind of expecting in the first place, right? FlyQuest have some of the best laners in the entire league, and when Winnie doesn't go down towards the bottom lane, the lead is slowly disappearing just on account of the fact that FlyQuest is doing better in their 2v2s and 1v1s.
I do love calling them some of the best laners because Surdy and Quad, I do think, are the best in their position. Now Shaden sets up for play in the bottom lane. Winner's Bite able to land onto Doxa, but not the target FlyQuest we're going for. We'll still get a flash out nonetheless.
It also costs Shaden nothing to just be here and try and go for that, right? Look, he has no camps up available whatsoever. And Winnie, I mean, he's going to be getting these grubs, but Surdy might be able to say something about it.
It'll be a 2-on-1, but that's how Aatrox do sometimes, is Quacker used to fight it out. And be late to the party when he grabs the second grub so far, and still fighting it out with Surdy in the meanwhile as Quacker Kind of feeling the momentum going into his favor. A nice flash out of Surdy, but not enough. Knocked up before he could get the regen of the World Ender, and Quacker will get the solo. But we are not done. Shaden is paying another visit to the bottom lane, going right after Doxa. The dive is going to work. It will cost them Chime. Shaden needs to get out, but there's minions there as well. Shaden, how are you going to run away? There's a Karma headed towards you. Dark Wings. Mantrid Q will land it right on the money.
Guarantee you get the kill right on back. It is a 2 for 2 in the bottom side, but we do see Quacker turning around some of the fights in the top side of the map, getting the solo kill this time onto Surdy. I mean, that is huge. The ability to dodge out on so many of those Darkened Blade swings does mean that he's able to find it underneath the turret. Now Winnie might even catch him on his way towards the top side as the wave looks to be pushing back towards Surdy.
Oh, this is going to be a lot of pain for Surdy. Just seeing Winnie in this area puts a lot of pressure onto Surdy. He does have a ward over towards his top side, so I'm not sure if he's spotting out this recall just yet. It might be just out of vision. However, though, we got to take another look. Shaden has been paying so many trips to this bottom lane.
Yeah, I do really like the fact that Chime is going in here and just says, yeah, I understand I'm going to die in this fight, but that is okay as long as my team gets the kills that they need to. And Shaden, I mean, he would have gotten out of this just fine, but we do see that Darkwing's flashing over that wall. I thought it was a blast code. No, he was flashing over the wall, get away from Quad to make sure that they can trade back that kill.
Yeah, that's the Wildcard thirst right there. Oh, there's a kill. There's a kill. Gotta flash over. Gotta get it.
Mine. Like seagulls.
Mine. 1-0-4 on the Karma. I mean, looking so far so good for Darkwings, especially in this matchup against Quad. You need any advantages you can get because Quad has been dumpstering a lot of other mid laners in this league.
Yeah. This is one of the big growth points that we have been seeing for Darkwings over the course of his career is, like I said this before, when we first started playing for Dignitas Academy back in the day, not a very good laner, but he's gotten slowly better and better. He was always very clutch when it came to actually going for a lot of these different fights. It's Surdy, gotta be careful.
World Ender is going to be used as Quacker wants a piece of Surdy. We'll go all out onto Surdy and get another solo kill. He's making him pay for that last game, Josh.
I don't know about that one. The fact that Surdy came right on back into the fight afterwards was disaster. Now FlyQuest bottom lane.
Yeah, here comes Winnie. He does have the Cyclone.
Nice.
Gonna be used. Glacial Fisher gets the knock up onto Winnie. Instantly with the winner's bite, he gets stunned up. The follow through from Shaden will find a shutdown thanks to the smite. Now flashing forward, gets the stun off of Chime. More arrows going through, but arrows are returned by Eren. Dark Wings on the retreat, trying to get away from Shaden as Quad has joined the fray. Flashes forward, scatter the weak, still gets hooked by the rocket grab, and Quad will give his life for the kill. One more auto to get the stun, able to get it over the wall. Here comes Shaden, comes in with the audacious charge, now teleport channeled from Quacker. Shaden, such a tactical retreat for FlyQuest.
Oh, the fact that Quacker burns the teleport so late here does mean it is a disaster for his play up in the top side of the map. He now has to walk all the way over, and we're going to see Surdy recoup so much of the gold lead that Quacker had picked up. But again, I told you it was a 50-50. We have been holding steady at about 1,000 gold lead for a wildcard for nearly this entire game. Right, they got a 1.4 to start the game, and then we've just been sitting at about 1,000 for so long. We see Shaden absolutely clinging towards the top half of the gold once again. 4 kills to his name by repeatedly going down bot lane to find kills.
Yeah, 4-2-1 right now for Shaden. Sajed trying to catch up on top of it. Eren has a pretty good lead on him, but that's due to the kills that happened very, very early into this game. Now Wildcard setting up around the dragon is 3 seconds before it comes down. Chime does spot out Doxa. Will sweep out that control ward and Wildcard, looking for priority on the river.
Yeah, they don't have a whole lot of control here as FlyQuest, just because they are there late. The Blitzcrank has a lot of vision control to play with, and so it's very important to make sure that if Dox is going to go for hooks, that they are blind hooks. And the fact that they have retaken control with Shane, the big man on campus, does mean that they are the first ones here towards the Dragon. And Quad, after clearing out the wave, will be able to move safely to support this game.
Right, Winnie's over here, so he can attempt to steal, and it wouldn't be that far-fetched for him to try. As a little bit of health remains. This should be secured by FlyQuest. Dox and Winnie both back out. Arrow comes out, not going to land onto anything. Here comes the hook. Going to miss as well. Scatter the Weak finds a stun onto Doxa. Chime on the retreat. Here comes Winnie. Not using the Cyclone just yet. Gets slowed by the volley. And Wildcard just swinging back and forth with FlyQuest. Little love taps, just little jabs.
Yeah.
Until they get into the real fight.
And this is Wildcard's turn, right? After the dragon goes through, everybody on FlyQuest needs to go back away and pick up some of those waves. Oh.
Ooh. Glacial Fissure comes out. Should be an easy stun coming through. Doxa's trying to interfere right now, but body blocking. Brilliant body block from Chime, but it's not enough. Aaron will take him down anyway. It's a double kill found by Aaron, and Shaden is left to clean up the mess his bot lane put up, as it's going to be 2-for-1 in favor of Wildcard.
Incredibly close fight. Really is coming down to the gold difference coming through. Aaron with so much more money before that fight actually started is able to out DPS even through the Braum shields. And at the end of it, it is still FlyQuest trailing about 1,000 gold. Wildcard maintains the same kind of lead, and they should for a little while longer. But the Dragon going over to FlyQuest does equalize at least a little bit on the stats, and Quacker is really good, trying to punish Surdy for trying to leave the lane.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Surdy. This farm does not belong to you anymore. Quacker is just putting a hold onto this lane at the moment. And Surdy has to watch from afar, wait for the wave to basically crash into his tower before he can really get any farm back for himself. That being said, though, he's still doing a pretty good job. Even though he's died a lot, he's ahead in CS at the very moment. It's just Quacker's been more active.
Yeah. It has been really big, the fact that Quacker got a couple of those kills, did find the solo kill as well. So they're going to be getting these grubs. Now, I'm not sure how many grubs they got before. Oh, they got them when Shaden went for a dive? Yeah?
You need a grub timer, man. Counter.
Yeah, either way, the little grubbies. The telegrubbies, I think I've heard someone call are
the Twitch chatters.
The Twitch chatters. Well, the grubs themselves aren't Twitch chatters. I have respect for the grubs.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah,
the little ones, right?
The little ones, yeah. No.
The little ones.
Anyway, they have all 6 grubs. We do have that
confirmed
confirmed by production. So that does mean that they will have the Twitch chatters every single time they go up. And hey, this is one of the most entertaining ways to play when suddenly everybody is Bard.
Surdy blindly swinging that Darkened Blade. And he stops the recall from Quacker, at least. But so far, the lane has been Quacker's way. Quacker was that guy who we called the solo kill king back in the day. He was first place last summer when it came to solo kills. Coming into today, it was Faisal who was in first place. I think Surdy might have taken that record with the couple of kills earlier, but Quacker's still in contention.
Wait, sorry, who was first?
Faisal was first before the matches today.
Gotcha. Well, we will see what happens. There was a lot of kills coming out from Surdy to start it off. And now we're still getting ready for the next dragon coming up fairly soon. This has been something where FlyQuest has drastically changed their playstyle, being a little bit faster to a lot of these players down here on the bottom side of the map. And teleport comes through.
Here we go. Tension's going to be in the bottom lane. Doxa able to absorb the enchanted crystal arrow, gets knocked out by the Glacial Fissure. He will be the sacrificial lamb. He flashes out. He gets the hook. It lands on Shaden. It's good. It's a kill going over to Wildcard. Still one going to get returned. 2-for-1 exchange thus far. And FlyQuest, they're able to grab 2. And with that, they will still continue taking this game towards its 50-50 state, Josh.
I mean, it's still a 50-50. Only 1,000 gold in favor of Wildcard. But Surdy teleporting down, they do end up finding a little bit to do in that last fight. And as Winnie comes through, happens to get stunned in that last play. Very funny. But Quacker, the only person not able to teleport into that play, he started his teleport, but he got interrupted by Surdy in the lane. And Surdy then had the time to run behind his own turret in order to make sure that his teleport would actually go off. But
and look at Doxa right here.
Yeah. Looking at Doxa.
Yeah.
Able to stay alive for so long, pulls Shaden underneath the turret. And as Surdy comes in, he gets a little bit of damage. Does he actually get the kill? He does get the kill and narrowly dodges out on the arrow. But still, Wildcard, they are still swinging. They are still trying to make plays happen. And I really like the fact that FlyQuest showing some ingenuity in the plays that they're going for, which you were kind of missing out on in Game 1.
More importantly, Doxa just being able to get that flash meant that Wildcard still got something back in that fight.
Yeah.
So picking off Shaden, definitely going to feel good. But Wildcard now setting up on the Rift Herald. A little bit of claim it for themselves and take control of this entire top side thanks to Quacker.
See, okay, the noise that those Twitch chatters make is absolutely like the noise that Twitch chat makes, like whenever they're watching something, you know? Right? Like, that is absolutely what they're doing when they're charging this in. But we are going to be seeing a lot of damage going down on this turret, and Surdy, the only one to defend it, he might get dove.
Yeah, they're going right on to Surdy. He's not going to survive this one. Even with the World Ender, there's just too much crowd control. The response out of Wildcard, out of FlyQuest, excuse me, however, is to go after the Dragon, but your base is under attack right now.
I mean, that's the way that Wildcard love to play around, in particular, these Tier 2 turrets. They just overload a bunch of people where they don't expect their opponents to be, and like you said, it's underneath the inhibitor turret with 6 of the grubs plus the Twitch chat coming in to take down these structures. That's an inhibitor turret already down, and now Chime looking to cut them off.
Oh, is it Chime's time to shine? Looks over towards Darkwings, tries to get the cutoff, but nope, not going to go for the engage. Wildcard grabbed an inhibitor tower at 17 minutes.
Creates a really interesting game state for the side of Wildcard because they generally will pick one side of the map and just ignore it entirely. Usually for Wildcard, it's the bottom side, but now because that lane is so long, it's so dangerous for anybody to actually go up there. And this is where you actually look at one of the teams like FlyQuest, who can still scale into this game. Syndra still stacking up Syndra dollars as well, just like we saw from Smolder earlier. Now is an opportunity to just kind of wait, extend the game, get more money, and can freeze things here if they want to, as long as there's not an objective for them to play for.
At the moment for Wildcard, they are still setting up for the lanes more than anything else because they don't really have an objective to play around. It's still 4 minutes before we do get another Dragon, 2 minutes before we see a Baron. So instead, they're just going to go fighting for Vision with Doxa and Winnie, which is going to be really nice once they do set up for some of these potential sieges, because no Vision means Doxa is very, very dangerous. That rocket grab can come out of Fog of War. FlyQuest responding to the bot lane siege.
Yeah. I mean, Surdy still fascinatingly being one of the people that you're kind of just sticking their neck out in order to make sure that they can get something done. But Wildcard, when he really focused on this, and it convinces the rest of FlyQuest to back off because they don't know that everybody else on the side of Wildcard had already backed away. So it will be Quacker picking up this bottom lane turret for themselves, a little bit more money, and this is the biggest the gold lead has become, 3,000 gold. But I have to remind you guys, FlyQuest was up 6k, and then Wildcard was also up 6k last game.
I do want to give a lot of credit to Quacker because after that first game, man, I'd be tilted. My morale would be down in the dumps, but Quacker is able to stay steady and really take it to Surdy. Getting those solo kills was fantastic. Oh, what else is going to go on right here? When he goes inside of the Rift Herald, Cyclone's going to be used to try and get away. Flash is out from the Glacial Fissure. Still finding a stun onto Winnie. Teleport now going to be channeled from Darkwings, looking to join the fight. Root goes through, but Rocket Grab's not going to land. An arrow onto Chime. Chime's getting critically low, but so is Quacker. Quacker gunned down to Sajed, and now Wildcard are the ones on retreat. Shaden tries to go forward, but the Mantra Q going to slow him down even more. FlyQuest unable to get much else. The slows are finding their mark on Aaron. Aaron's in a bad way. He has to flash over the wall to survive. A hook comes on to Shaden. Shaden uses the Crescent Guard. Jumping in, it's going to be Winnie. Winnie finds Shaden, but he's not dead just yet. Quad's able to take down Winnie. And what was a close fight, FlyQuest will clutch out.
I gotta admit, FlyQuest and Wildcard are both teams I really enjoy watching team fights, but that might have been one of the sloppier examples we've seen from both sides. Neither side really knew if they were fighting. Normally, that's an advantage for Wildcard because they're like, oh yeah, we know we're fighting. But everybody was going in one at a time, not really sure if they're going to be going for that full commit. And so, the fact that FlyQuest are able to clutch it out at the very end, again, want to point to Sajed for that one, for forcing Aaron to play to his flash, by forcing Aaron to flash over the wall, taking that time in order to find those kills. But that really cuts into the gold lead once again that Wildcard were playing for. They're up to 3k. We've lost 1,000 of that yet again. And Doxa, I mean, that's so much respect coming through from Shaden.
I'm looking for the rest of the members of Wildcard, and they're kind of far from home right now. Doxa, very low, 100 health remains. Can they take him out before the rest of Wildcard get there? Now Shaden's in a bad way. Tries to put his attention towards Aaron. Not going to really find much. Quacker deep behind enemy lines. Able to go all out and all in onto Surdy. A double kill is going to be found by Darkwings. Chime looking to back up. Puts up the shield, but the shield is broken by Quacker. Wildcard will take 3.
And they're right next to the Baron, where after 20 minutes, they're going to be starting this one up in full vision of FlyQuest, who do not have the mana nor the front line to do anything about it. These incredibly confused fights from both sides. The lack of coordination is this time coming out in favor of Wildcard. And they're looking. They know that Quad is right here on this ward. They want to make sure that he cannot get anything done.
Quad gonna make an attempt at a steal right now. This would be really hard. Still gets the unleashed power. Will get a kill right back. It'll cost him his life in the process, but Baron's still secured by Wildcard.
And this is, once again, a huge gold lead. The Rally Cry Baron buff coming out, but it does mean they're going to be potentially a little bit late. But with both members, both mid laners dead on the map, FlyQuest do have people here for this dragon first. They are already 2 dragons. They are trying to find their way towards the Infernal Soul, and it looks like they should be able to pick this one up.
FlyQuest with the dragon in their sights. Wildcard currently wearing purple. As he starts position forward, Dox is still looking for those hooks. Instead, Winter's Bite is the only thing that he's going to find. FlyQuest, they're happy to grab the dragon and get out. Still going to be a little bit of scaling thanks to that Infernal Drake.
Yeah.
But they will be on the defensive. As Wildcard take control of the jungle.
In particular, this Infernal Dragon will be so good for Quad. We haven't really touched on him so much, but he is already at 112. I believe it is 120 where you get your execute, or is that the AP buff? I don't remember exactly. There it is.
There we go. There we go.
Oh, 120. She already has the execute. Now Quad is getting close to getting all the extra AP, the inbuilt Rabadons in your kit. But Wildcard, they take another turret. That's 2 kills. Going over to Wildcard, and now they're trying to find something in the mid lane.
I believe FlyQuest just used an arrow to try and get Darkwings. It is on cooldown currently.
Got his flash.
So they're able to get that out at least. Yeah, that's a pretty nice little pickup right there. And, of course, you always got to keep in mind that Enchanted Crystal Arrow does have a low cooldown.
No flash
Quad doesn't want to be found here. He's able to find the sidestep. Here comes the Cyclone from Winnie. Focuses onto Quad, but Chime is there for the protection. Glacial Fissure gets the knockup on the Winnie, and Winnie will fall. Now Surdy looking to be that frontliner with the Aatrox. He has a bone to pick with Quacker. Quacker stepping forward. Shaden's absorbing so much damage thanks to the Crescent Guard. Will be able to scoot on out with the Audacious Charge. And like that, it's a 1-0 in favor of FlyQuest.
There we go. I mean, Winnie a little bit too far ahead of his team, but FlyQuest come out on top of that one. It'll slow down the Baron push at least a little bit, but the members of Wildcard will still be here. Quad low enough that if he gets hooked, he dies.
Turret under attack, tier 2. Not going to make it. Doxa still going for those hooks. Doxa kind of just throws them out randomly. He doesn't really telegraph them that much. They just fly. FlyQuest always trying to give respects to that, because one pick on the wrong target really means a lot. Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes out, but there's not going to be much for fall.
No, I mean, not anything to do after that one, but there's no objectives to really play for. As we get to see, for the first time, I mean, Quacker and the rest of Wildcard far enough ahead at this point to... I no longer think it's a 50-50 for the first time this game, right? The fact that Wildcard have slowly inched us up, they are currently 7 turrets to 1. So FlyQuest, they really need to find a couple of these teamfight wins in order to take some of these structures. It was something that I criticized them for in a previous cast, is the fact that FlyQuest were not always the best at picking up objectives after teamfights. Neither was Wildcard. That's part of why we have so many kills, and so much of the gold is based on who has actually picked up the last hits on other enemy champions.
Noxa in the jungle. Quad. We'll throw out a Scatter of the Week. It's a Blitzcrank, though. Rocket Grab can come out at any time.
Yeah.
Spell Shield Surdy is going to be fine to at least position in the jungle that Wildcard try and take. But here comes the push coming in. You have Darkwings over in the top lane. He has his teleport available, so he can split and continue the side lane pressure, while the rest of Wildcard go about their business.
Mr. Wildcard also need to start worrying about the business around the upcoming dragon, because it is going to be another opportunity for FlyQuest to pick up a soul here very shortly in minute 40. The Infernal Soul will do quite a bit. Big thing we need to see coming up from Quad is he needs to start building up those AP numbers. He does have full stacks at this point, so he does have the Rabadons that is already built into his kit. But, I mean, that little bit of extra AP and AD that will be coming out of every Infernal Dragon kit will be big, but Zerdy, wrong side of town.
Oh, and Surdy's going to have a long route to take. See what he's going to do here as Quacker continues the chase. Aaron and Winnie seem to be in his path.
Oh, Quacker guessed wrong.
Yeah, you would need a Q3 if you're going to stop this, and Spell Shield, everything works out for Surdy. He'll teleport to safety.
Yeah, Surdy gets on out of that one. Unfortunately for Quacker, guessing wrong, the rest of Wildcard continuing to hunt, but not finding him whatsoever. He does commit the teleport. But we are seeing a 2-level lead coming out for Quacker over Surdy in this game. And there's the kill.
Oh, arrow comes out, but it's too late. The hook from Doxa lands right onto Sajed. Aaron being the recipient of the kill. Now they want to go after Chime, who flashes over the wall. Wildcard, it's their play.
Yeah. I mean, Quad will get this turret up here on the top side of the map, and 20 seconds left until the Infernal Dragon does mean FlyQuest cannot play the Infernal Soul this time around. So instead, they're going to be taking a page out of the Wildcard book. You are seeing Chime and Quad chilling off on the top side of the map, looking to potentially pick up another turret. Quad with the execute with a bunch of extra bonus AP and picking up all of these little infernal chimes, shall we say, does have an opportunity to kill anybody that comes through.
The infernal chimes.
Yeah,
as opposed to the chime on the team of FlyQuest? The other
I was comparing it to like Bard.
I know you're comparing it to Bard, but
uh-huh.
He's right there, so I got it.
He's right there. Infernal Dragon will be going over to Wildcard here, and there will be a Baron spawning at the same time. So, Wildcard, I mean, with 5,000 gold lead coming through, the mid lane turret is FlyQuest's second one. I'm trying to decide, like, how effectively Sajed is going to be scaling into this game. You know, because he is the Ashe, but there's a lot of damage that he has to deal with, and he doesn't necessarily do the most damage, especially with how far behind he is compared to someone like Aaron. And so, as we start looking at these upcoming fights, it really is going to be a focus on how Surdy, Shaden, and Quad are going to be doing. As Doxa, hey,
Shaden comes out with the charge. Doxa doesn't go for the hook. Wildcard gaining control past mid lane. They are going to send Quacker to the side lanes to push over there. Doxa still fishing for hooks. FlyQuest might fancy themselves a fight right now.
Ooh,
An orb landing on the Winnie gets him to half health.
yeah, Doxa will be clearing out some of this.
Oh, an interrupt right there. Doxa over the wall, looks for the rocket grab, does not land. Quad, almost a bad way.
The worst mechanic in League of Legends. The freaking blast cone vertically and not actually going anywhere. Either way, Quad does get out of that one at the cost of his flash, and we see Darkling's flash again away from the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. That's a lot of ultimates, or a lot of tools being used on both sides to get the mid laners safe. But we still did get to see a bit of a glimpse of how much damage Quad can do to everybody.
Curious if Doxa was going to try and grab Sajed right there. Doxa been really active with that head splash over walls. Ooh, Winnie, they spotted out with the sweeper. Here comes Glacial Fisher right onto Doxa. With no Doxa, there's no grab for Sajed. Quacker's on the opposite side going after Surdy. Here comes Cyclone. Shaden's getting the better of this one. Will have to flash away to survive, though, as more damage comes through. Lands onto Shaden and Chime. Will take a good chunk out. Going to be Doxa going down in another pick, uncontested for FlyQuest.
Ooh, and a steal coming through for Wildcard as well to get the red buff for their entire team. I mean, it slows down a little bit of what Wildcard we're doing, but it's okay if Blitzcrank dies a million times. He still has the hook at the end of the day, and this is where, I mean, I'm a little bit surprised that Wildcard aren't trying to force like a front to back or a kind of an ARAM like we saw in the last game, because they do have a little bit better poke between Darklings and Aaron, and also they're okay with taking these front-to-back team fights because of how strong Quacker in particular is.
Yeah, Quacker is doing Cassante things, to say the least. I mean, we saw what Surdy did on the Cassante. Quacker kind of having a similar performance in this game. 5-1-3 thus far. Has been a lot of pressure into the side lanes when Darkwings isn't applying it as well. Darkwings currently over in that top lane. That's a good push, you know. Mantrid Q gets rid of the wave quite fast. It allows Wildcard easy setup when it comes to this map as they continue to dance around the Baron. Still 2 minutes before that Dragon Soul is available once again for FlyQuest.
Yeah. But Wildcard, I want to see them put a little bit more pressure on, right? It's really dangerous for either team to face check their opponent's side of the map. And this is finally it. We saw Doxa last time he was around here end up dying, but they are going to try and reclaim some of his vision. It's all a matter of where is Quad, where is the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. FlyQuest not in a position to actually contest to save any of their vision here.
Hacker goes forward. Eats a little bit of the damage from the Scatter the Weak, but not going to be that concerned about it. He is the front line. He is the tank. He's the one expected to lead a lot of these charges alongside Winnie, beginning these fights against FlyQuest. Thing is, FlyQuest, it's a battle of vision at the moment. FlyQuest have been actively trying to fight for control of that. Fog of War on a Blitzcrank, again, is very, very deadly. FlyQuest need to position themselves carefully to not get caught out in some of these picks.
As I set up with a minute left on the Dragon. this is where Wildcard can try and change the narrative of themselves or live up to their reputation, right? They need to get to a position where they can go for either a Baron Snake, like we know Wildcard loves to do, or they have a spot where they don't need to do anything fancy, right? If they let FlyQuest face check into them, it should be a winning fight. Whoever starts the fight defensively should be winning a lot of these. And so 40 seconds left on the Dragon. You need to get your backs in now. Quad with a teleport will be okay, but this needs to be a needlessly large rod coming out from him relatively soon, or he's going to be really weak in comparison to where the Syndra wants to be 32 minutes into the game around this next fight.
Yeah, won't have that death cap, which is pretty crucial right now. I mean, death cap with Infernal would be very, very powerful for the Syndra. But Quad over on this top side puts into my mind that FlyQuest aren't looking for the contention of that Dragon just yet. They might be looking for the Baron instead.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough as Wildcard getting another Infernal Dragon. It's going to be FlyQuest moving towards the other side of the map. And remember when that inhibitor turret went down like 19 minutes into the game? It hasn't really mattered, as it is going to be a lot of gold going over the Quad. I have to imagine he's calling for the rest of the team like, hey, let's not do anything for a little while. I need to farm my way to this Rabadon's, and then we can take a fight.
I was kind of surprised that FlyQuest didn't go for the Baron right there, at least starting it up. They did put more priority on to that tier 2 and taking that and getting it for Quad. So it might stand true to what you're saying, trying to get that last final purchase for Quad. And yeah, there it is. Rabadon's death cap going to be completed.
Also want to highlight real quick that he is the highest level in the game, and it's not particularly close. He is level 18. Quacker is almost there as well, but Dark Wings is not close. Surdy is not close. We are trying to find these levels on everybody else, and also at the same time, Sajid down 2 levels going into Aaron. It's a lot of little bits of attack speed and AD that FlyQuest AD carry is missing out on.
Go Quacker, going right into the face of Shade and Winnie, trying to situate himself as well. Bit of damage being swung around. Shaden eating a bit of it now, getting the rocket grab. Crescent Guard going to be used. Arrow lands onto nothing. Flash coming out from Shaden. Quacker smells blood in the water. Will chase onto Shaden, but there are the chains. Shaden still going low. He'll hop on the Winnie. Winnie's looking for an angle to pop that Cyclone. Hasn't used it yet because FlyQuest scatter and Wildcard head for the big purple worm.
And with the Smite dead, there's no real way for FlyQuest to try and do anything, but they crucially still have a couple ultimates. They have the World Ender. They have the Unleashed power coming through from Quad. They can try and take this fight 4v5.
It's going to be a tough one. You don't have the arrow for Sajed, but he does have his sums available. A little bit of chip damage coming in. They're chasing on the Quacker. 4K remains on the Baron. Hook goes out. Doesn't land onto anything. Again, no smite, so Winnie should secure this. Able to grab it. Now FlyQuest want to take the fight on the back end. Going forward. It's already one pick. Quad able to blow up Doxa. Still staying in this. Quacker's alive. Quacker chases on the Chive. Able to grab another. Sajed running away from Winnie. He will not fall. Quad playing on the defense. Quad's a villain right now. If he could drop these balls onto the head of Wildcard, it could be what FlyQuest need to remove those purple buffs. But Wildcard, they're gonna head for the hill. So much damage from Quad. Wildcard still get the Baron.
And what a hero coming through from Quad multiple times, instantly deleting someone. Here comes the ultimate. Teleport mid lane.
No one's there. Teleport comes out. Quacker arrives, but the calm is finally gonna be found. A very close fight that was on a knife's edge.
Quad finding a couple of hero moments in that last fight, but it still remains that Wildcard are the ones with the rally cry at Baron buff. We'll take another look at this interaction. They try and take down Quacker and at least get a lot of damage onto him, but Doxa missing this hook does mean that FlyQuest can move in. And then Quad, he deletes multiple people. That's the first one, instantly killing Doxa and stunning off the back line immediately, giving Sajid a lot of time work his way through Quacker, but as the flash comes through from Winnie immediately afterwards, Quad does so much damage immediately. You see the execute come through to take down the monkey there at the same time, and with a little bit more confidence, might have been able to find even more kills walking up into that fight.
Now this Syndra, man. Goodness gracious. There was a pot popped as well for that fight. Now that final slot used for the Fiendish Codex. So we are in the late game for Quad. I mean, 30 seconds in, we're in the late game, period. With the minute 30 left, whoever takes this dragon gets soul.
Yeah, Yeah, it's coming up relatively soon. FlyQuest pushes into their base, and the Baron buff will help out Wildcard quite a bit here. This is yet again, we talked about before, if you want a team who's going to be able to take down FlyQuest, Wildcard might be our best bet right now because of how much chaos they create in these games. This is looking like it could be FlyQuest's second loss of the entire season so far. They've only lost one of their games to Cincinnati Fear previously, and now FlyQuest, they have to try and find one of their ways back. But this is one of the things about FlyQuest. They are such magnificent defenders of games. Yeah. We saw the clutch come out last game. They just need to do it once more.
We're going into the deep end, 37 minutes, I think closer to that 40-minute mark. This is where the gold lead is not going to really mean anything when everyone is getting towards that full build moment. Now FlyQuest setting up. They have Sturdy over in the bottom. Everyone else posturing up in the mid lane. You have to watch for that enchanted crystal arrow. It's one of the things that FlyQuest have tried to utilize, has gone wayward numerous times, but it is that big pick tool that FlyQuest are at least trying to find on the right target.
Yeah, the 3 items coming into Sajed, he is significantly behind the curve when you look at where Aaron is currently. But Quad, I mean, as long as he has all of these healing units,
here we go. Hook's gonna land on the Chime. Chime is the tank. He wants to be in there. Crescent guard from Shaden, starting to back out from Quacker, who's chasing him down. The Quack is on the attack. Pulls Shaden right on back, and still the balls are flying from Quad. Throws out the unleashed power, and it does not take down Quacker. Aaron goes on a rampage.
And Shaden going down once again right before the objective is actually fought over. It means that Wildcard should be able to pick this one up. Quad not quite getting to execute the W coming to Quacker, saving his life, and this should be enough to finally close the game out here for Wildcard. Getting the Infernal Soul, 3 Infernal Dragons, does mean that they have the tools to be very, very aggressive. And look at this, they are not done. Aaron doesn't know he's been spotted, but Winnie looking for Sturdy.
Let's take another look at this fight. Doxa, as we said, he just goes for hooks. Doesn't matter if you're a tank, he'll go for it anyway, and yeah, lands it right on the Chime to start off the fight.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the ideal target, but there's just not a way for members like Surrey to walk in on the fight. They will take too much from Aaron, and eventually Quacker is able to run him down. You see the unleashed power here in just a sec. The damage reduction comes through, means he keeps just enough HP to keep himself alive.
I cannot believe he survived that. That was insane right there from Quacker, but as you said, that W reduction, it does a lot, and it stops the unleashed power from taking him down. What would have been another kill going over to FlyQuest in what is a very desperate situation for them. Because remember, whoever wins that fight is going to get the Dragon Soul, and now that is what Wildcard have in their pocket right now. Got a minute before the next Baron as another arrow goes wayward. 5 minutes before that Elder hits, going into the 40-minute territory, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, we got to call him out. Sajid has been missing way too many of these arrows for FlyQuest to really do much about it. This is one of their primary bits of pick, and they have not been able to really make it happen very often. They got a couple flashes from Darkwings, but now it is Wildcard in full control. They do so much extra damage with 45 seconds until the Baron actually spawns. You note that the entire top side of the map is completely dark here for FlyQuest. That's why they're playing so far down this way. They're going to try and find an angle where their opponents do not have total information superiority.
Disheartening for FlyQuest to try and get in on this, considering how dark this side of the map is. 30 seconds before Baron comes up. Still need to get some vision over there. Wildcard will do that Baron quick and in a hurry. Now Chime playing on the defensive right here, trying to be that front line for Wildcard, for FlyQuest. But we know that Wildcard is willing to engage on anything and play this front to back. Another arrow goes wayward.
Yeah, it's a short cooldown, but it's not that short. The Baron is already alive. Now Wildcard, they're the ones who have much more control over how the engage happens from this position. You have the Blitzcrank, you have Aaron who can throw out his ultimate. He has been on point with the chains of corruption so far through all of this. And now Doxa can start looking. If he picks anyone off, they probably die.
It doesn't matter if it's Chime, doesn't matter if it's a tank, the damage is there. And what's so good for Wildcard right now is they have the ability to get into the back line and not get blown up in an instant. And that's what Quack is doing right now as he comes in with the teleport, trying to chase down on the Sajed and Quad. Quad is the big target right now. He's been scaling up. Shaden isolated. Now Quacker trying to escape. Winnie able to sidestep the Scattered Wing. Out comes the Glacial Fisher. Shaden on retreat. So is Surdy. Here comes Doxa. And down go FlyQuest. The chase will get them 2 kills, but they want more than that. They want the whole damn game. They're knocking on the door. They're beating it down. They're looking to end this right now, Josh.
An extraordinarily long game yet again, considering how far ahead Wildcard started that game, but they should finally give FlyQuest their second loss.
Down goes Sajed, and it is done. FlyQuest have tasted defeat before. You mentioned it at the hands of Cincinnati Fear, while their second game loss of the season will be dealt by Wildcard.
Ultimately, it was not the cleanest game we've seen from either of these two squads, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who wins it, how cleanly you do it. It's all about which Nexus actually falls, and it was Wildcard, giving FlyQuest, again, a second loss on the season. Now, FlyQuest, they're going to get side select going into our next game, and this is only going to be the second time that they're going to be going into a best of 3, and so, with FlyQuest with the opportunity to pick which side they want, it'll be, once again, yet another 50-50 for this series.
Sajed said, you can't get complacent, you can't ego in this league because sometimes surprises like this happen, and Wildcard taking us to a series. We're going to head over to Game 3, but not before this quick break. We'll be right back, and on the other side, we'll catch you with Wildcard versus FlyQuest. Introducing the new foot-long sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious foot-long cookie, foot-long pretzel, or foot-long churro.
Everybody in Twitch chat.
Look at the camera.
This is the guy. This is the guy making the run to the LCS Challengers League. Round of applause for Scary Jerry.
Shout out Collegiate. We're coming for everybody. We're gonna win. Also, Shogo's been in the Twitch chat of every match that we've had, so shout out to him. He's our biggest fan.
Nice.
Can't wait to take St. Thomas out in the finals.
Kind of going back to the Lucian item here in the bot side. This sets up really nice for Lucian's ultimate because the support item he'll grab is the damage amp. So you throw down that auto, you know, you get the slow, you pump your ult. Oh boy.
Flash doesn't matter if you die, and Wixie gets pierced through the heart. Victory in your first series of the split. It's a little bit of a top kingdom, huh?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, he was completely capped both games. It was just a slaughter, what can I say? But it's really good to see you guys again.
Top laner is going to show up as teleports are channeled. Now jumping in is Jenkins right on the chime. Bleeds him down so damn quickly. Quad is here, and a double kill as the sword slices down from Surdy.
I want to go to you as an individual, as we do see the Grim Reaper running around behind you. Thank you, Shochi, for being the mascot for the team. Still clumped up. They haven't gone down yet. Shochi's just free firing. Jumps in. Over the knockup from Niles. No knockup combo for Spyrax to look for, and he even goes down. Shochi with a double kill, making a triple kill. Reset City versus Supernova's mid laner. Quadra kill to Shochi, and they will ace Maryville.
There is a reason that I said it's going to be a Shochi specialty game. The future of the LCS starts right after the LCS. Welcome to Challengers League.